For the past 3 weeks, it's been the same thing. Just as the city outside my window settles into its nightly hum, another sound begins. A soft, muffled crying from the apartment directly above mine. It starts around 10, sometimes a little later, and it's always heartbreakingly consistent. A raw, quiet sorrow that seeps through my ceiling and into my conscience. The first time I heard it, I thought I was imagining things. My building is old. It groans and settles, and sounds travel in strange ways. I turned up my TV, trying to drown it out, but the sound persisted, a faint, rhythmic sob. The second night, it was clearer. Definitely a person. It sounded like a woman, but it was so muffled it was hard to be sure. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. What do you do in a situation like this? I don't even know who lives up there. I've been in this building for 2 years and the tenant turnover is pretty high. I think someone moved in about a month ago. I've passed a woman on the stairs once or twice, maybe in her late 20s, with tired eyes and hair always pulled back in a messy bun. She'd offer a weak, fleeting smile before quickly looking away. Is it her? My mind started racing, creating all sorts of scenarios. Is she just sad, grieving a loss? Or is it something more sinister? Is someone hurting her? The thought made my blood run cold. But what if I'm wrong? What if I call building management or, worse, the police, and it's nothing? I'd be the crazy, nosy neighbor. I'd make her feel embarrassed or even unsafe in her own home. The fear of overstepping, of making things worse, paralyzed me. So I did nothing. I just lay in my bed, listening, feeling utterly useless. Night after night, the cycle continued. The crying would start and my internal debate would begin. My friends gave me conflicting advice. Mind your own business, one said. You don't know the story. Another insisted, what if she needs help? You have to do something. You'd never forgive yourself if something bad happened. They were both right, and that just made it harder. I started to pay more attention. I'd listen for other sounds, footsteps, voices, a TV. But it was always just the crying. The silence surrounding it was almost as unsettling as the sound itself. It was a lonely kind of sadness, one that felt isolated and trapped. It was getting to the point where I couldn't sleep. Her sadness was becoming my own. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to do something, but I wanted to be careful. I decided on a low-key approach. I baked a batch of cookies, my grandma's recipe, the kind that can make anyone feel a little better. I wrote a simple, non-intrusive note. Welcome to the building. I lived downstairs and wanted to say hi. Hope you're settling in okay. Your neighbor in 3B. No mention of the crying. No prying questions. Just a simple gesture of connection. With my heart pounding, I walked up the single flight of stairs to apartment 4B. The hallway was quiet. I could hear the faint sound of the crying from behind the door. It was even more real, more painful, standing right there. For a moment, I almost turned back. What was I even doing? This was crazy. But then I pictured her, alone in her apartment, and I knew I had to at least try. I placed the plate of cookies and the note on the doormat. I didn't knock. I just left it there for her to find. I scurried back downstairs, my ears burning, feeling like a spy in my own building. I spent the rest of the night on edge, waiting for, I don't know what, a knock on my door. The sound of the crying to stop. Nothing happened. The next day, as I was leaving for work, I saw the empty plate sitting outside my door. On top of it was a folded piece of paper. My hands trembled as I picked it up. The note read, "Thank you. You have no idea how much this meant to me." My eyes welled up. It was just a few words, but they felt monumental. That night, for the first time in 3 weeks, my apartment was silent. The crying had stopped. I didn't know her story, and I still don't. Maybe her sadness just needed to be acknowledged. Maybe all she needed was to know that she wasn't completely alone, that someone, even a stranger downstairs, cared enough to bake her cookies. It's easy to tune out the world, to convince ourselves that other people's problems are not our own. We're afraid of intruding, of getting it wrong. But sometimes a small act of kindness is all it takes. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be as simple as a plate of cookies and a note that says, "I'm here." It's a reminder that a little bit of compassion can travel through walls and even ceilings. Thank you so much for watching. If you've ever been in a similar situation, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.